Great to be back on the London Loop down here at Kingston on Thames. I don't even know if this little bit of the walk I'm doing here through Kingston along the Charter Quay is actually on the London Loop, but I'm going to walk along it anyway. This is the beginning here at Kingston, picking up from where I left off in May. And I don't know where I'll end up, but it's, I want to go have a look at the King's Stone, which I think is down here. So this must be the Hogsmill River, which is where we start the walk. We follow the Hogsmill for a bit today on this leg of the London Loop. And here it is about to make its confluence with the Thames. And here's the London Loop sign, which I found by accident next to this kind of really old battered phone box. So here it is, the King's Stone that possibly gives Kingston its name, the famous Anglo-Saxon Coronation stone. And these are the names of the Anglo-Saxon kings that are said to have been crowned upon this stone. Edmund Adelstan, which I think is Athelstan. Michael Wood, the great historian, considers him the greatest of Anglo-Saxon kings. Edward, Adeldred, got another Edward. Ooh. And what's that? Edwick, Edwich, Edred.
So actually the name Kingston isn't derived from this coronation stone here. According to Steve Rood in his book London Law, a really wonderful book, Kingston actually was already in use before the first known coronation, and it means a royal estate or palace. The actual word, I'll put it up on the screen here, it's Singningstun or something like that anyway.
What a great thing to kick off this section of the London Loop. I started the London Loop, I think it was January 2018. This is the furthest out for me, being in Leytonstone, and I started at Enfield. I've come all the way around now to Kingston, so it took me quite a while to get here today. I'm walking it anti-clockwise. I don't think there should be a way you do it personally, but all the directions are given in the clockwise direction. I'm doing it the other way. And the walk I'm doing today is through territory which is completely unknown to me. I don't know this area at all. This is only the second time I've been to Kingston. The first time was when I finished the last leg of the London Loop that I did, which was back in May, I think, when I walked from Hayes. That was cracking that day. Not sure how much I'm going to get in today because it's quite late. It's about 1:45. Got back from holiday yesterday and I was just knew that this was what I was going to do on the day after I got back from holiday. Today's Sunday, the 11th of August. So we've come across that dreadful roundabout there. It's very Kingston. It sort of has the feeling of sort of Slough or Reading, really. It's like a big town sat on the edge of London. Anyhow, enough of that. And now we're going to pick up this little footpath here, back to the Hogsmill. Just had a brief chat with my old pal Nick Dimitri on the phone then. Told him where it was, and he said apparently this is Richard Jefferies' river. He wrote a piece called London Trout. Here we have an interesting iron bridge above the Hogsmill. Opened in 1894, it tells us in a plaque. And we now go down this little path between the river and the school. It's the other association with the Thames at Kingston. And I don't know if it includes the Hogsmill as well, of course, is Jerome K. Jerome's 3 Men in a Boat. There's another area with associations of Caesar's invasion of Britain. Such a beguiling little river, it really makes me want to get in it. It's interesting, this old looking iron bridge here is actually a 2008 replica of a bridge that was erected in 1886. Stanley Pickett Gallery, which unfortunately looks closed. I'd quite like to go in there sometime. Had some interesting exhibitions in the past. Centre for Useless Splendour sounds great. I wonder what they get up to in there. It's interesting, you can mostly do the London Loop without a map, I think. Be interested to see if I can get away with it today. I have got both the TfL maps that I printed out and an Ordnance Survey map. Let's see how far we get just following the London Loop signs. I'm going to get in trouble, aren't I? This is a lovely little street here. Actually leading me away from the Hogsmill at this stage. It's quite funny after saying that about the London Loop signs and just following them without using a map. I followed the sign, London Loop sign, towards, well, in the direction it was pointing, and actually it took me away from the river. And when I looked at the map on my phone and checked against the TfL map, I was quite a long way off course. So I've come back to the centre of that strange converted pub, and I'm actually following the footpath by the river. So I think this is the correct way. There you go, that didn't last long. What a fine bit of architecture that is. It's wonderful, isn't it? I think that's King Athelstan's School. Well, after that rather curious contradiction in the London Loop signs, we're back on track now. So after consulting the Ordnance Survey map, it does seem that we do continue down this road here, Villiers Road, and head towards Berrylands Station. So we turn off Villiers Road now, down Lower Marsh Lane, which promises great things, doesn't it? Spot a lunch on the go, tasty chicken bolty slice for £1. Can't go wrong, can you? This western section of the London Loop really is an edgelands ramble, isn't it? Here we're walking between a water treatment works and a cemetery. You can't get much more edgelands than that. Chicken balti slices followed with a topic. Maybe we're really living the high life out here on the London Loop. Wow, this really is a major water treatment works, isn't it? These great temples rising from the undergrowth. Berrylands Station. I believe we just carry on under the bridge here. This is great, this little stack of pallets here stuffed with straw and twigs and what have you is a breeding habitat for stag beetles. Isn't that great? This is an interesting parade of shops here at Berrylands, isn't it? So we swing a left up here by the Berrylands pub. I think we pick up the river, it's not far away. Back on the Hogsmill. Just had a brief chat with a lady back there with a young boy, presumably her son, and they were walking the London Loop. Stopped to chat to them near Berrylands Station. Very pleasant. They were doing it the traditional way. And I just saw 3 more ladies in this street up here walking it in the traditional way, in the clockwise direction with a London Loop guide. That's the most people I've ever seen in one bit of the London Loop together. In fact, actually, it's most people I've ever seen walking the London Loop. Well, if this is still the Hogsmill, it's really slowed down here, isn't it? It's quite congested, full of weed. I reckon this is a section of the London Loop where you could freewheel it a bit, actually, and just hit the major points and find your own route between them. I did that on the bit between Cockfosters and Boreham Wood. I didn't stick strictly to the London Loop because I wanted to go to the site of the Battle of Barnet. and that took me around through some wonderful terrain, whereas the London Loop dips south and goes through Scratchwood and a few other places that I've been before. Yeah, I think this is another example where I don't think you should stick directly to the route here. Just trying to think, is Surbiton where the Good Life is set? The classic 70s, early 80s sitcom? I think it is. This place has got a very Good Life feel about it. So I've managed to go a little bit astray there, just as I was saying about freewheeling it a bit. At that point I ended up following a tributary of the Hogsmill and coming off away from the Hogsmill. The clue there, I suppose, should have been how small the river was. Anyway, so I was just going to loop back on myself slightly. Do you remember saying, I think on one previous section of London Loop, how difficult it was to get lost? Well, there you go. I proved myself wrong. Even I managed to get lost on the London Loop. I think it's happened before as well, hasn't it? I basically just have to loop up round this housing estate, and that takes me back to the Hogsmill. It's not a massive detour, but you know, this is a street of really fascinating architecture. It's kind of like a mixture of arts and crafts and kind of modernism. A bit of Bauhaus in suburbia. It's not as bad as I thought. It only took me about 10 minutes to get back to the Hogsmill here. I mean, I could have just took a shortcut to the bit where the Hogsmill meets the road, but I didn't want to miss this out, actually. I'm still trying to work out how I went the wrong way. Quite funny, anyway. Ah, yes, here's the Hogsmill. I don't regret that little diversion. That was a delightful little tributary of the Hogsmill, and I saw that hut that made me think of the Good Life, which is a very necessary Surbiton reference, isn't it? Cricket match up there on the other side of the river. It's a delightful sight and sound, isn't it? Yay, a bit of London Loop signage. We've got to negotiate this busy road now with a bit of a loop. We're going to walk down the road here, and then there's an underpass, I think. Luckily the London Loop isn't encouraging you to dash over the road. There is an underpass here. I guess we have to find the London Loop again somewhere down here. Here's the Hogsmill. I guess I just have to find the path now. Here we go. Back on the London Loop. Really got that urge to go backpacking again. I think it's when I did the section of the London Loop that took me past Heathrow, that really ignited something in me. Made me want to get on a plane and go a long way away. And I think something about, I was just going on holiday, you know, packing my backpack for a week away. We had a brilliant holiday in Southwold. I did a fantastic walk following W.G. Sebald's footsteps in the rings of Saturn down to Dunwich and back. Yeah, it's funny, so it's something in my stirring in my blood. Something about the London Loop, maybe because this does feel like a trek, like a proper trek. I was going to say jungle trek. It's a proper Edgelands trek. Because I went backpacking in my 20s. Spent a lot of my 20s into my early 30s being quite transient, really. So it's there in the blood. Wow, this is lovely. Beautiful big open space opening up beside the Hogsmill. Green parakeets fluttering through the branches. Look at this really beautiful willow arch somebody's made. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't this great? This mosaic on the wall of the railway bridge here. Fantastic. they've really captured the magic of the edgelands here in this bit of artwork. Oh, and it's wonderful. So it's a reference to Millais' Ophelia, you know, the famous image of Ophelia floating drowned in a river. Well, that's actually was painted near here in the Hogsmill River, and the artwork is commemorating that fact. You have to imagine Shakespeare's Ophelia floating in the river down here. Path is climbing quite steeply uphill now. I think I'm going to have to check the map. I think I'm alright. I think it's here now. I think I'm going up here. I go down to the road and then go around in a loop to come back to the river. Seems right anyway. This is a great little lane that I'm going along now. Beside a churchyard. I think this is a church. It sits on the site of a much older Saxon church. Rather a lot of Celtic crosses in this churchyard here. More than you would normally find, I think. This is the parish church of St John the Baptist, Malden. And I think that's the continuation of the London Loop there on the other side of the road. That gap in the woods. Yeah, there we have the London Loop sign. Look at this, Barrow Hill, the borough of Epsom and Ewell. A barrow, as we know, is a burial mound. So it makes you wonder whether there was once a burial mound on this hill here. And the London Loop sign up there on the lamppost. It's quite a well-to-do street. And we carry on along this kind of gravel path. Wow, that's quite a dramatic name for a suburban cul-de-sac. Drummerline Ridge. Great stuff. We're not actually going through this gate into this lovely little open space here, just passing it by. This is interesting here. We see this house being demolished. If you look to the right there, you see what looks like the gate post to what would have been a grander residence at some point. This is a fine view here from Grafton Road, looking into the valley of the Hogsmill. Turning right off Grafton Road now, down another little suburban street. I don't know what this one's called, Cromwell Road. And down here we're back on the Hogsmill. We're at that point in the year now, we're about 2/3 of the way through the year, when you start to reflect on the walks you've done throughout the year. I've done some absolute cracking walks this year. It's been a great year of walking, and they come back to you in little snippets. Getting somehow resonances of the walk I did on Wimbledon Common in February. Really kind of wet and windy day, not a pleasant day at all. For some reason, I don't know why, that is revisiting me today. Oh my God, a Toby Carvery. A great symbol of the edgelands as much as our water treatment works. And here she is, the Hogsmill. I'm not sure if you'll see much, but there's clearly a go-kart track here on the other side of this fence. That's great. It's a particularly delightful little stretch of the Hogsmill. Massive heron just took off from the river down there. Majestic bird. So we're now entering the county of Surrey. So you have to come up and cross this racetrack here that they call a road, and then just on the other side you carry on. And now the Hogsmill makes a big turn and heads towards Ewell. And that's where we go too. Of the variation in London Loop signposts and places where these little symbols end up. I wonder if anyone's photographed every single one of them. I would like to see that website. Another delightful bit of parkland here at West Ewell. That'd be tempting to take that detour, but I'm going to stick doggedly to the route now. I have to say, the Hogsmill has been one of the most delightful little London tributaries that I've ever walked along. Really picturesque the whole way. I nearly ended up going off in the wrong direction there actually, because if you follow the footpath straight on, it takes you into a little park there called Ewell Court Park, but then it takes you on a bit of a detour, so you need to cross this little bridge here. Here's the Hogsmill, and there's the path on the right hand side of the river. So you cross this lovely little wooden bridge over the river, and we walk on the other bank. There's the heron down there, resting by the side of the water. They're incredible birds, aren't they? I don't know if this is the correct way to go or not, but there's no way I can resist walking through this tunnel here, which goes underneath the railway line. Look at this. Oh, that's great. I've somehow managed to turn this into an 11-mile walk, even if you take off a mile or so. Getting to the beginning of the walk, it's still a lot longer than it says on the TfL website anyway. So section 8 of the London Loop ends just up here at West Ewell station, which is where I think I'll end today's walk. It must be, what, 6 o'clock-ish? Let me quickly check. 20 past 6. So quite nice to go home, spend the evening with the family. So it's a good time for me to say thank you so much for coming on this walk with me, section 8 of the London Loop. What a cracker! It always delivers, doesn't it, the London Loop? And I look forward to seeing you on our next walk, wherever that may be. We've been all over the place, haven't we? Who knows where we'll be next time. See you then.